pretty decent night. Oh, fire is smoky this morning. Wow. But yeah, I think it's time for some coffee. I had to get the fire going so I could warm up. I got a little chilly. Feet and lower legs got a little chilly last night, and not really sure why. I'm gonna have to take a look at that hammock. I think I had a draft underneath the bottom part of my underquilt, so I have to work on that. But let's get a cup of coffee going, and I want to show you a cool way to do it. You guys heard of an Emberlit stove? Well, let me show you what that's all about. So this is the pouch I made for the Emberlit. Let's get this thing out of here. This is leftovers from a wool blanket that I used to make a wool hunter shirt that I will show you at some point. Those are some awesome little buttons I made too out of a couple of beads, man. They just don't ever want to come loose. But here's all the pieces to the Emberlit. Let's just set this up here. This is probably one of the most versatile stoves that you'll ever use. You can use it with alcohol. You can use it with wood. Whatever. It's pretty darn sweet. Let's get all the ashy side toward the inside here. So you put this thing together. It's got little notches and little ears. Pretty well just, it's kind of self-explanatory when you look it over. You put these three pieces in, slip these in the notches down here in the bottom. Like so. Give her a good twist. And it's together. This one is the ultralight. This one would be the titanium version that's about 50 bucks. They also make a version that is about 25 bucks made out of stainless. And it's really not a whole lot heavier. It's just personal preference. I like this one because it was real thin, super light, and when I'm out backpacking with it, it makes for a great little stove. So you can see here now that it's all together, you got this here area here where you feed your larger pieces into. I bought these separately for $6 because all my pots are skinny except for one, so this keeps it from falling down in there. So I put those in there, and it's got air holes all the way around. And man, this thing is a beaut. So let's get it fired up here. You can put an alcohol stove in there and use that thing as a windscreen, and then set your pot on top, or you can pack it full of wood. I'll just take a bunch of little twigs, toss the twigs down in there like so. And that's a good thing of these notches too. Not only do they work for airflow, but when you have a pot up there, you can continue to add twigs to it without a whole bunch of hassle. And I'll post a link on the video here of where you can purchase one of these on your own if you prefer to. You take yourself a larger stick and you feed it through the hole down in here. But I think I'll let the fire die out enough. A little flame on it, and you start catching these other twigs. And you can throw some grass down in there if you need to, anything to get it started. You can use your favorite kinds of tinder. Just about anything. Probably the most versatile wood stoves you can find. There we go. The idea behind this is you get your smaller stuff kindling going up here on top, and then you feed larger sticks into these holes to keep a little small flame going, so you got constant heat. Get the twigs going, so that way we'll get these other ones going real well. The idea here is that you just feed these sticks down inside, just keep feeding them in there to keep a flame. Works great. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to get started. I haven't used this thing in quite a while. I mainly use it when it's really dry out. When we don't have a burn ban, but it's just on the verge of cutting off a burn ban. So there you go. Just set my little pot on there, cook it away. Now you can see, like I was telling you here, that these little vented areas, I continue to drop sticks in there if I want to keep it really hot. If I want to keep it a little bit cooler, then I just let those other sticks burn and just keep feeding these in here. But this takes, you got to play with this thing a lot as it's going. You just constantly stuffing your larger sticks into it to keep it going. So you do have to play with it, and you do have to pay attention to it pretty well. It has to be baby sap just to keep it going. But man, once you get a good bed of coals in that thing, it'll stay pretty darn warm. And if you got your hot tea and you're sitting there at night or in the morning, it makes a great warm drink holder. You can just set your drink on it with those coals down there, and it'll keep it warm for as long as you're sipping on it. So I'm gonna let that water boil up, or get good and hot, and make some coffee out of that. Okay, that's not quite boiling, but I don't really care for it to boil. I'm just making a little bit of coffee here, and I got instant coffee, so now the good thing about the Emberlit is the fact that you can use anything in there for a heat source, wood, whatever. I mean, they're real versatile. You can use your alcohol stove, but the thing about the Emberlit that I will say, damn it, I have to do some mods to my billy pot here. It doesn't want to stay together. But the one thing I will say about the Emberlit though is it is I would classify it more or less as an alternative to a campfire. If you really can't have a campfire, man, that thing's the way to go, because you can still get your food cooked and all that good stuff. Now if you can look down in that, you can see that it is the thicker twigs that are burning. Now that's going to be your sustained flame for cooking, and you just push those in there like so, and just let them burn down, and then you start putting some new ones in there as they get shorter. And that's the whole essence of the Emberlit. Now the old Jimmy Squatch is over there feeding the campfire a bunch of twigs. It's hungry. I'm gonna have my cup of coffee made up from the Emberlit stove, and I reckon we'll be tearing down camp and going home soon. So thank you guys for coming along, stopping and watching. Appreciate it. If you got any video responses, I want to see them. It's awesome. You guys come up with great stuff, and I like it. It's awesome, great, it's good stuff. So until then, you guys go get dirty, have fun, be safe, stay warm, and play with fire. Here's a downed limb that was right by our campsite. Have a look at this thing. It's pretty crazy. Look at all this sawdust all over the ground. When I first saw that, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, wow, they started chopping this thing up right here. Then I look, there's no cuts. It's got wood ants all in it, and I don't know if you can hear it, but have a listen. You probably can't hear that, but man, that thing is crackling like a rainstorm through here. You can hear it all the way from down here all the way up. Just crackle, just constant. Heck, while we were sitting there at our camp table, you could hear that. It was insane.